Hey everyone out there, it is Vicky from Valkyrie Tarot coming at you with a little bit of an informational video, if you know what I mean. So, I don't know if you noticed, but there's been some hot topics popping out. I gotta grab my book over here. Have you heard of the human design? If you haven't, you're either not a very spiritually inclined person or just hasn't fallen across your algorithms yet. But I'm super excited. I just bought this book. I've been listening to tons of podcasts out there, and literally in the last probably 3 weeks, almost everyone that I've listened to is talking about human design. So when I went in there, I was like, I'm curious, what's my human design? For those of you that haven't really gotten to know me over the years, I am a Scorpio sun sign. I am a Libra moon and rising. I am Sagittarius Venus. And then I am also Libra in like Mercury and I think Uranus, something like that. So I am a person that literally wants to know everything about everything. I want to know how people tick, is really the thing that gets me. But more importantly, I want to know how I tick. I've been huge into personalities my whole life. Like the whole idea of a horoscope when I was younger, I was like, I don't want to be a Scorpio. I'm not driven by desire. Truth is, I was just in a different avenue. You know what I mean? I was always a person that really just wanted to maintain balance and needed things to be aesthetically pleasing. So that makes sense because that Libra aspect in me is so huge. Okay. Well, I got to looking into other things about personalities. I've done the DISC assessment at work, and the DISC assessment is all about like your identity, but how you work with people that you work with. Okay. So I'm actually a SI. So I'm actually a sensitive, but I'm also inspiring. I tend to have a personality where people come to me for their problems, and I don't like causing issues if I don't have to, but I sure as hell will have a confrontation if I have to, things like that. I'm also an INFJ, but I'm an INFJ variant that doesn't really like to be aggressive. Okay. So those of you that know me, you know that I've got a huge heart, and I'm always the one that comes into any type of situation. I try to crack a joke to get an even keel, have people focus on what's important, and try to diffuse a situation. That's just who I've always been. My mom actually put in my high school yearbook that I'm the girl that always knows how to make everybody smile. You know what I mean? So, that being said, I wanted to know a little bit more about me. So I got into reading about the human design, and this is a book by Shania Cornelius and Dana Stiles. And they actually have a whole website themselves. You can go on there and you can take your own human design. It's absolutely free. I will tell you what the website is in a second. Hang on, it's in here. But you can just go in there and you can do your most basic human design. And then if you have a book like this, you can read into it a little bit more and understand what everything really means. Hang on, I'm trying to find the website for you. Actually, you know what? Just for the sake of saving time, I will put it in the description box below this video. But basically saying, or basically coming into this, which really got me going because I'm a person that reads tarot. I'm into horoscopes. I am into understanding the different houses that people's birth charts are in. I'm also into I Ching, which if you haven't seen my newest videos, I've started using I Ching at the end of the horoscope readings, so check that out. I am huge on that. I've always been, but I actually misplaced my book for a while, and literally last week I was like flipping coins around and I was like, oh my gosh, I should do I Ching on my channel. So here we are. We're doing it. Okay. But anyways, what human design does is it ties all of this in together. So it takes into consideration when you were born, takes into consideration your I Ching, which kind of falls into, again, how you were born, when you were born, where you were born. And it takes into consideration all the different gates. So there's, there's 60 gates, I believe. Nope, 62, 64, 65 gates, 65 gates. Sorry, I'm looking at the wheel below. And those are all different paradigms within a chart. So if you've done a birth chart before, go on Cafe Astrology. I'm not getting paid for this. Go on cafeastrology.com, do your free birth chart. whatever, you'll see not gates, but you'll see quadrants, and your gates actually fall into these different quadrants. And based on what quadrant you're in, that's a different I Ching mark. Okay, so I Ching is literally, if we use this book, it's just a whole bunch of variants on how things fall. So if you're looking at the hexagram patterns here, there's a whole bunch of them, and they fall into different quadrants depending on how you toss your coins or how you toss your sticks, whichever avenue you're doing. But what's awesome about human design is it ties all of that together. You see this chart down here? It's the most basic chart. I'm trying to take my face out of it so it doesn't try to illuminate me. But it ties all of this stuff together. So you're not just taking one at face value. You're taking multiple things at face value, okay? It takes into consideration Western astrology, which is our horoscope, okay? The I Ching, which ties in Chinese horoscope and Chinese, basically oracle reading. It also ties in our chakra system. And for myself, who's a Reiki master, and I teach about life energy and Reiki energy and how to kind of pull yourself back in and heal yourself from within. That's a huge one. And then it also ties in the tree of life, which is wrapped into the Kabbalah type of networking. And Kabbalah, for those of you that don't know, very tied into Middle Eastern tradition, specifically a little bit of Judeo-Christian at the forefront, right? So all of these things are tied in together, and it's basically, you take your test, you get a chart that looks something like this, and you can see all of the planetary alignments and all of the symbols of the zodiac are all in here too. And it'll tell you what you are. It'll tell you what your personality is. And when I took this, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna be. I'm really hoping that I'll be something cool. You know what I mean? And what I actually wound up being is where is it? I saved it. I'm a generator. Okay. Majority of the population are generators, but this opened up my eyes because I've always been a person that people will just come up to me and tell me their life story. And I always thought it was just, I got good energy. You know what I mean? People have always told me, you got good energy. So I just kind of took it at that, right? But it explains so much because generators are actually people that pull people to them and try to influence positive reactions and positivity within other people. And here I am having my own YouTube channel and doing horoscope readings and doing all of these talks about Reiki and energy and crystal use and anything that you can do, all of the woo woo or the granola, if you guys get me. But what's really cool is that generators, like, we're on here for a planet, we're on the planet for a purpose, and we really feed off of our sacral energy. And sacral is one of the sections of your my god, I almost said Kabbalah, of your chakra system. Okay, and your sacral energy is the foundation of your power. It's who you are. It's your self-confidence. All of that comes into it. And as someone who's a Scorpio, I'm actually, I'm rooted not in the root chakra necessarily where I should be, but I'm kind of float between that sacral and that root chakra type of energy. It's why I come off confident. It's why people, when I'm walking down the street, absolute strangers will make eye contact with me. And in my brain, when the Matrix first came out, I was like, oh shit, it's the people. They know. They know I'm trying to get out of the Matrix. They know it. They're making eye contact. But I've actually heard also that people are drawn to you because your energy field. So they're seeing actually your energy field. They may or may not actually like physically see it, but they are drawn to you like a magnet. Okay. So that explains why certain things happen in certain respects, right? So I'm a generator and I'm a 6-2. And if I can find it in the back, it basically just talks about like what my purpose is and how I kind of walk through this life. I got to find the numbers in here. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the book. But basically, you can get like all of these things dropped off and it'll explain so much. So just stumbled on the sacral center. So because the sacral center is one of my primary spots, 66% of the population creates and sustains this energy on the planet. Okay, or roughly. It's connected with sexuality, fertility, guiding life through response. So going off your gut instincts, having high intuition, which is something that I've always had, right? It's also some, like, in the highest vibes, it creates a creative energy. So if you're doing something that you love, you never work a day in your life, right? That's always been my mantra, and that's something I try to share with other people, right? In the lowest vibes, it's someone who feels really frustrated because they think that things should be going one way, but they don't know how to say no, so they just go along with the flow and they feel squished and kind of pushed down over time. And again, things that have happened to me in my past, right? So looking at that, now we go into the, there we go. Here's my profile numbers. So I will do, so the 6-2 profile, and I'm sure those of you that know me are kind of laughing at this, but is the old soul or the natural genius. The I'll read right from here. The boss old soul who role models authenticity. I literally had a talk with my boss, I want to say a couple weeks ago, whenever we were going through our evaluations, and she's like, people look up to you. People naturally look up to you to see what you're doing. They want to follow you. They want to be you. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good thing. But in truth, that's something that I have to step into myself, and understanding, like, my grand design here, my human design. I have to step into that because people are watching me. Those people just walking down the street are watching me. Little kids are paying attention to me at basketball camp and seeing how I respond to other things. You know what I mean? The students that I teach at the university, they're looking to me to be a mentor. And I've always embraced that 100%. I try to empower people. That's always been who I am. I always take, like, the black sheep, I guess, and kind of pull them under my wing, little Polish wing. Um, and I try to help them, right? So that makes sense that I'm an old soul, I'm a guide, and people look to me for my authenticity. But I need to also step into my authenticity in order to really root myself in my true sacral power. If I'm not being authentic, I feel off, and other people notice that, and it sends everybody else off. Okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, continuing to read. Someone with the 6-2 profiles balances their desire to be responsible and guide or support others with their desire to be alone and do their own thing. I am an introvert by nature, and people don't believe that because I'm very charming and I can go in and I can make friends with a tree. Okay. I had an ex that used to say I could sell a casket to a dead man. Like, that was my personality, right? The point is that people that are generators, they give so much of their energy, empaths, aware, you give so much of your energy out to other people. You're sharing your energy. You're trying to generate more energy through other people. And sometimes you give so much of yourself, you are exhausted. You give until there's nothing left. And then you need to go home and you need to recuperate for 2 days. Case in point, had a really long week last week. I was exhausted. I came into work on Monday and I was like, I don't know if I have the energy to work a youth basketball camp. But I found it, and I dug deep and I got that energy out. And I knew my energy wasn't where it needed to be. And I knew my frequency was low because I was, like, elbows deep in Mercury retrograde shadow. Everything was going wrong. My computer wasn't working. I always get technological things during Mercury in retrograde. So for those of you that are like me, give me a shout out. Anyways, I do like to do my own thing. I need to be autonomous. And even when I'm in a relationship, I do need to do my own thing. You know what I mean? And that's an important aspect of knowing what you need, especially when you're looking at a partner or someone that you're going to be working with or living with in your life. You need to maintain your boundaries. And my boundaries are to go out there, to do what I need to do, to help others and inspire others. But at the end of the day, if I just need to take an Epsom salt bath and relax with a glass of wine and put my Hulu on my phone in the corner of the tub and relax and watch a movie, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fill my own cup first, because if I'm thirsty, I don't know how to lead anybody else to find their drink. You know what I mean? Okay. Next, they have natural talents that they are not aware of or can't explain, but others see them easily and call them out when they're shared. So I have always probably been mystically inclined, if I could use that as a term. I don't know. Hang on. I'm speaking of being thirsty. All right. So, um, more or less intuitively inclined. People used to always tell me, they'd be like, I bet you can call what's coming next. And I still remember when I was in college, I was on a retreat and we were hanging out and we were just playing cards. right? It was late at night. We were out in a cabin, and we were just kind of like hanging out. It was all of the honor students. I know, I'm a nerd. Libra, I'm telling you, we're all nerds. Anyways, hanging out in a cabin, and we were just chilling. Everyone else was kind of like tucking in for the night, and I was wide awake, and so was my other friend. And we were just playing cards, and I don't know how we got there, but it was more of like an intuition type of test. And my friend was like, "I'm going to tell you what card is next. You tell me what it is." I got 4 out of 5 right, and the only one I got wrong, I got the right number. I didn't get the right suit. And she was like, "That's so crazy. I always knew that you were psychic." And I'm like, "I'm not psychic. No, I'm just guessing. It's literally just, I'm guessing whatever my gut's telling me." But fast forward 20 years later, I start working with intuition, and I start learning about, chakras and Reiki, and working under a medium to get my Reiki master certification. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I actually did have these tools to me when I was younger. I used to be able to anticipate what was going to happen on a sports field. In my brain, I knew where it was going to go, and I just acutely put that into, I'm just good at reading things on the field, right? I used to be able to tell how someone was going to react before I even had a conversation with them. Are you one of those people that like practices a conversation in the mirror before you go in? Yeah, that was me, and I could always figure out how it was going to go. So I trained my brain to know the right response before it came out. Boom. Another example, right? I've had these talents, and I didn't know how to hone them in until I was probably in my 30s. And I'm so grateful that I have, because I'm still on this journey. I'm still learning, clearly, right? But it's been a great, great journey. I also have other natural talents, probably that I'm not aware of. If any of my friends or family are watching, or if any of you out there have picked up on anything, you let me know as well. But my talents, I think, are in cooking. And I think that my talent is cheering people up. I think that's honestly my best talent that I have. But yeah, you guys let me know. Leave a comment. Anyways, moving through. Uh Generators can be, 6-2 generators can be idealistic or perfectionist. Yes, I can be. Very much so. Uh and they hate making mistakes when they're young. I used to beat myself up so much if I failed a test or didn't get an 80 or whatever. And I remember having a conversation with my mom. She's like, "I know I don't need to hold you accountable, because you hold yourself accountable every single time. I'm not going to beat you up twice." And that was one of the best things that my mom could have ever told me. And that's true. Like, I don't need someone to tell me I messed up. I know I messed up, and I'm currently learning from it, but I'd like to leave it in the past because I don't live there anymore. And I'm not going to make that mistake again. That's who I am, right? Um, 6-2s don't like petty drama, but they crave deep experiences on a soul level, including finding a soulmate. And I contribute that to why I didn't wind up settling down until I was in my 40s, right? So I was always looking for my soulmate. I've always been a really intense person. I'm always, I want to get to know you before you walk out the door the first day, right? And I was a person, and if any of my exes jump on this, you'll know I dive in deep. And if you can't swim with me in the deepest levels, there's a buoy. You can swim to shore. I'm going to have fun in the deep dive. Some people just can't handle it. I'm just very grateful that my fiance can. And she actually helps me stay grounded and stay level, because I like to get a little bit, but what if? But what if? She's very earth based because she's directly across from me on the wheel. I am a Scorpio Libra, and she is a Aries Taurus, and we are both cusp signs, so we are directly across from each other. Equal means equal. But we hold each other accountable, and we keep each other balanced. And I'm patient with her where she might think that she's impatient. And when I'm frustrated and really freaking out about the what ifs, she's like, "Hey, they haven't happened yet. Just plan for them and see where it goes." You know what I mean? So, shout out to Kayla. Love you, babe. I also don't like petty drama. I think it's funny. And if I get involved in it, I'm like, "This is bullshit. You're stupid." I literally will say that. I'll be like, "I don't want to be part of this. It's a waste of my energy." I literally will say that. Anyways, um, that was very weird. T? TT? I just saw a shadow in my room. and it kind of moved down in the corner, and I thought it was my cat's tail. But it's not, because TT's not in here. Good times. Gonna hope that it was one of our girls coming back. We had to put our dogs down a couple months ago, so I'm hoping it was one of them just coming in to say hello. Anyways, little shadow over there. So hello to whoever's in the room. Thank you for coming to visit. And yeah, you let me know if you have any messages that you want to send. I can't hear you or see you though, so you're gonna have to communicate me when I'm in my dreams. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, that being said, by the way, if you ever see a spirit or a shadow, like we're naturally inclined to be like, "What the was that?" Right? It's just energy, and if you treat them with respect, they will treat you with respect. A lot of it is just, ooh, I'm all tingly. I'm a sensitive. For those of you that don't know, I'm gonna guess, is this a family member that's coming to visit? If so, let me know by your warmth. Yeah, yeah. So someone I'm connected to, family wise, pet or relative. All right. I can't sense anything else on it because I'm so into this right now. But yeah, you guys just witnessed that sensation. That is what I get when I was talking about the intuition stuff. That is what I get. I've got that my whole life. My hands are getting hot now. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a reading after this, so you guys can all tune into the reading. We'll see who's trying to communicate with me. But please be patient. Let me finish. Thank you. All right. Last but not least, the last thing in here. 6-2s have a humanitarian heart and a hopeful, supportive outlook for others, but they don't want to have to hold other people's hands. So I will definitely be like, hey, these are the things that I think would help, and this is what I think you should do, but I'm not going to do it for you. You need to be able to build your own fortitude. Okay. Like that's always been who I am. I had a friend a while ago who was really struggling with her sexuality, and she was getting drunk all the time. And, she would come up to me and be like, yeah, like I fell asleep in my car last night outside of the bar, and a cop came, and, oh, they said they were going to give me a ticket. And I was like, what are you doing? And she thought it was, I was like getting the feeling that she thought it was cool. And then like she was bonding with me and being like, yeah, everybody goes through this. And I was like, no, not everybody does that. Like, go home. Like, what are you doing? You're hurting yourself. You're destroying yourself. Like, lift your vibration. And she just kept making the same mistakes over and over again. And I had to cut her off. I did the Scorpio and Libra, cold door. And I was like, you got to learn for yourself. I'm done. I'm not going to let you drag me down. And I know that sounds really awful because I am a person that's always there to help people. But sometimes the best way you can help people is by walking away so that they can figure it out on their own. So, anyways, since I have a spirit floating around me and it's telling me I have to do a reading, check out Human Design. I'm gonna probably, once I get a little bit more versed in it, maybe do a couple more things on it, but super excited. Hope all of you dip in. If you know what your human design is, please comment below. And yeah, if you're interested in a private reading and you're not really fluent with the human design, let me know because I can always tip in on your reading and give you like a quick little feedback on what your human design is on your birth chart. All right. You let me know. I'll see y'all soon. I got to do this reading before this spirit decides to hightail it out of here and not give me a message. All right. I'll see y'all later. Deuces.